And hello, everybody. We are on the final day of the Steven BirthdayBomb. We are here to talk about the very last episode, log date.
Yeah, specifically, this is just me and BJ today. Unfortunately, Ryan could not be here with us because his job has claimed him.
Yes, the job has claimed his soul. But, so, pretty much like Danny predicted, and as I'm sure it was fairly obvious based on the title, yeah, this is a Peridot-centered episode, but this is more so an episode not so much about how, well, kind of how she stands after, because this does technically take place after the events of, you know, her officially becoming a crystal gem after she told off Yellow Diamond. But we do get some more backstory about her, about some of the times that she spends during the drill production.
Yeah.
So, episode synopsis. The episode begins, you know, Peridot kind of, you know, both she seems happy, but at the same time she's simultaneously freaking out.
I mean, she looks like she's like on the brink of insanity, because it's like, you know, yeah, like, you know, she's like, some of the things she's saying is like, she says like really excited, she's like, I told Yellow Diamond she was a clod to her face, and then like the next like split second she's like, oh my god, I just told Yellow Diamond she was a clod right in her face. I mean, she was constantly going back and forth, and it's like, I'm sure there's probably going to be some memes popping up on Tumblr if they haven't already.
They already have.
Some of the facial expressions she had, I mean, she was losing her mind.
My favorite was like when Steven was just like, are you going to be okay? And she just turns around with a big goofy smile. No!
It was very funny, and it's like, yeah, this is like the first like 2 minutes of the episode is just her like descending into madness.
Yeah, but it all revolves around this tape recorder that Steven gave her, which is what she's been using for to record her thoughts and I guess her logs since she lost the one when she had her limb extensions. So she wanted to get rid of it because she was losing her mind. She threw it at Garnet, and Garnet tried to give it back, but she's like, no. But Peridot was like, no, give it to Steven. So Garnet takes her to help her try to calm down, and Steven decides to listen to everything that Peridot talked about in the logs. So it goes all the way back to when Steven first gave her the log thing. It goes around, and it goes around a little more, like
it's just like, you know, various little things, like observations, like things she's like, you know, starting to learn. Like, you know, one of the first things that, you know, I thought was fucking hysterical was was when she first meets Greg. Like, Greg, I think he was like patching a hole in the barn or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, you know, hammer and nails and everything. And then she just like walks up to him, just like sits down. And he's like, oh, hey, you must be Peridot. He's just trying to like have some conversation. And the next thing you know, she pushes him off the barn. So then Garnet catches him, and she's like, Peridot, you cannot just throw people off the roof. You know, he could get hurt. And she's like, well, how was I supposed to know? And the whole reason why she pushed Greg off the roof was because I think it was like earlier she saw like a ladybug or something flying around, so she thought every organism could fly. So she pushed Greg off the roof thinking he could fly.
I like Garnet's reaction to that too. She was like, you can't just push humans off the roof. They're soft and weak. And Greg was just like, hey, a stick, not even a 6-pack will help me there, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really funny scene.
Yeah. So then right after that, it shows what was it? What was it? It was when I guess the gems asked, had Peridot start cleaning the barn, and she wasn't cleaning it correctly because she was trying to use a mop for one thing without water.
But she was using it upside down.
Exactly. And then she comes across this chest full of clothing, which she just thought was all shirts, because at this point that's what she figured any article of clothing was. And, you know, she brings up how, why would anyone want to wear some, what was it, appearance modifiers that aren't melded to your body?
Yeah, pretty much.
And it was like this, there was these alien boxes that she puts on, and she feels all goofy wearing them, but she's getting all into it. And then Garnet sees her, and she's just like, how'd these get on me? And she tears them off. And
Garnet just gives her, like, a thumbs up or something. Like, she doesn't even, like, say a word. She just goes, thumbs up.
Yep.
So it's like silent sassy Garnet in this episode.
Yep. So then right after that, it goes back to Peridot working on the drill, and she says this was her a month after she was captured, Steven just to celebrate the anniversary. Steven gives her these paint cans that he painted with flames as stilts. So she I guess as a replacement for her limb extensions, because she does seem a little self-conscious about not having them anymore. So Steven wanted to give her something to help her feel taller. At first, Peridot, she was like, I don't want to wear your earth trash. But then, of course, that night, she's wearing them and like playing around with them and trying to role play with them.
Yeah, it's like, she's walking forward, and then she like loses her balance, starts walking backwards, and she sees she's walking. She's like, oh my goodness, they work in reverse. It's like, and once again, there's Garnet standing behind her, giving her thumbs up.
No, I don't think Garnet was in that scene.
Oh, I thought she was. I thought she was in like damn near every scene with Peridot.
No, only every other one. But the next scene she was in, and this was the funniest fucking scene, it was when Steven was setting up the TV.
Oh god, yes.
And he puts on this show, I guess it was a camp, like, romance show. Of course, Peridot is just like...
And apparently it must have been a Canadian show, because, it was clearly a Canadian flag, just green, not blue. Not blue, not red.
So, of course, Peridot's whole thing is like, why do you distract yourself with these useless distractions or whatever? And, of course, and then the first thing on the scene it shows is like, these two characters about to kiss, and Peridot's like, what the hell is this ritual? Is it fusion? It's like, no, you see, my dad told me at certain stages of life, and he was blushing there, so I'm curious on how much he actually knows about this kind of stuff. But Peridot interrupts him again with more questions, and then she's just like, he's like, there's no way I'm going to waste my time with this. 72 hours later, she's still watching the same episode. She's been watching it over and over again. She knows every word. Steven comes up to her again, is like concerned. Like, it's been a few days now. And as it turns out, Peridot's a fucking shipper.
Oh god, yeah. She goes on this freaking tirade about, how these two characters are perfect for each other.
And not just these two characters, just a bunch of characters, about how the compatibility about a bunch of characters in general.
Yeah, and it's it was they did one of those scenes where it's you see that she's going on and on. You don't really hear the rant, but it's in fast forward, so
Steven already heard it and you didn't want to hear it again.
Yeah, so it's so she's just going on and on, and then you see Steven, he's just sitting there kind of bored, and then of course in comes Garnet. She just bamps out of freaking nowhere, and she just sits there listening.
And then Steven's already passed out, and by the time Peridot finishes, that's when she realizes that Garnet's there. Garnet just gives her another thumbs up, and Peridot just tears her sheet apart, like, ah! What was the scene after that? Let me see.
Was the joke book afterwards? She was like, there was a scene where Peridot opened up a book about jokes.
No. I think we skipped that one actually. That one was before the TV scene.
Okay, yeah, there was a scene where she was opening this book about jokes, and of course, the one page she lands on is, why did the chicken cross the road? And she, and she's like, I don't know why. It's so that the chicken could get to the other side. And she's like, what's a chicken? I don't get it. She didn't get the joke, but she didn't even know what a chicken was.
Yeah, but what's funnier is when she said, after she said the joke, she was laughing really reluctantly, trying to
force it.
Yeah, thinking that it was supposed to be funny. Yeah, then it was the TV scene, and then right after that, it's another scene of them constructing on the drill. For some reason, and then Amethyst scares Peridot by shapeshifting into a lion. And she's just like, I'm just lying around.
Yeah, lying around.
And then it's of course Pearl's scringy, and because Peridot's, then Peridot's questioning why Amethyst continues to shapeshift all the time, because she talks about how it seems like such a waste of energy. But Amethyst's like, well, because it's fun to do and it's cool, and then Peridot asks her to shapeshift into a chicken for the sake of knowing what a chicken is.
Right, and then she's like, now I get it!
And then Pearl kind of chimes in, and it's just well, at least she's not lying around anymore. Like the dorky mom she is. And the Peridot kind of talks to herself after that, saying, at least Pearl's trying. I can respect that. Amethyst is fun to be around. But actually, something that in general that Peridot has been commenting on here and there is how she's not really comfortable or really doesn't understand Garnet.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, because, like, this actually goes back to the episodes before the bomb, like, when she had first, like, I guess, quote-unquote teamed up with the gems, and it was like, you know, pretty much from the very beginning. I mean, she's just flat out stated that Garnet has made her very uncomfortable because she doesn't understand why Ruby and Sapphire constantly want to stay fused together. You know, she's like, you're not fighting or anything, you know, so what's the purpose of, you know, staying together? And let alone, she still has that homeworld mentality of, you know, two different gems fusing together is just wrong.
And in which case, the very scene after that, it involves, like, you know, Pearl and Amethyst finished some construction on the drill, and they want to turn it on its side. So they fuse into Opal, which I think was cool, because this is the first time we actually, even though it was very brief.
We haven't seen Opal in a long time. I think since season 1, like the very end of it.
Yeah, but this was the first time where we actually saw, like, them dance to actually form Opal.
Oh, that's true.
Which I found interesting. So yeah, so they quickly form Opal so that way they can move the drill. But, you know, this freaks out Peridot. But then she goes to ask Garnet. Who's just sitting there stargazing. She's just like, okay, I'm so confused at this point. I can understand why you would fuse for a functional purpose, but you're not doing anything. It's like, and she's like, yes, I am. I'm stargazing. It's like, you can do that alone. He's like, but I don't want to. And then Garnet kind of just pats, like, the haystack next to her, implying for Peridot to sit down. And this is where things get pretty neat, because it's like,
what's the space lesbian rock equivalent of cock tease?
So, you know, they're having small talk. You know, Garnet's like, I can see the homeworld galaxy from here, and she's like, oh yeah, you're right. And then you know, it's like, Garnet, she's like, you know, we're very different, but I can respect that. It's okay. And let's see, what was next?
Yeah, and I think that was when Peridot, you know, was, like, being, like, you know, right up in front with Garnet about her confusion with fusing.
Well, more specifically, this was where Garnet was like, you know, Garnet understands that Peridot doesn't really understand. Understand. So she was like, you know, she was like, you know, if you want to understand fusion, I can help you. And she's just like, how? Let's fuse. Oh my stars!
It's like, that was probably, I think, when everybody watching was just like, no way. Like, you know, and it was like, again, this is where I asked, what is the space lesbian rock equivalent of cock tease right here? Because, oh my god, this was too cruel.
Yeah, so it's like, but I liked how they handled it. Like, yeah, like, you know, it's like, I understand that, you know, fusion is not really an equivalent, is not an equivalent to sex, but in this in particular case, they handle it in a similar way. You know, Garnet asked if Peridot wanted to fuse, but when Peridot looked like she didn't want to, Garnet immediately was like, it's okay, you don't have to. It's like, you know, I can tell you're not ready. We can do it another time if you want. You know, Garnet was very about the idea, very behind in talking about what she told Steven prior, like many episodes ago, how fusion's a choice. It's a consensual thing. But then Peridot was like, okay, no, like, just let me get ready. You know, because Peridot didn't want to try it. So she goes to get the stilts that Steven gave her, so she can dance. She can properly dance with Garnet.
Yeah.
So Garnet starts the slow music, and they begin dancing. But Peridot's clearly uncomfortable, and about halfway through, after Garnet says, you know, let's like get ready, but then Peridot lets go, and like I don't know if you noticed, it's a very minute detail, but when Peridot lets go, Garnet also lets go at the very same time, realizing that Peridot doesn't want to do this.
Right. Kind
of adding to the idea, it's like, even if someone said they want to do it at first, if they change their mind in between, you should be able to respect that.
Yeah.
So Peridot changes her mind. She just doesn't. She doesn't want to go through with it. And Garnet respects that. She's like, okay, that's fine. We don't have to if you don't want to. But I appreciate that you tried. Garnet was really appreciative that Peridot even, you know, gave it a chance.
Right, and I think if anything, it's like, you know, Garnet is the kind of person where it's like, obviously, yes, you know, fusion is a big deal for Garnet. I mean, you know, kind of a no fucking brainer there. But yeah, it's kind of like you said, it was because Peridot was willing to try, let alone Peridot was going out of her way to try to get to know Garnet, and I think she appreciates that way more than, you know, whether or not the two of them can fuse. I mean, I'm sure at some point in time in a later season or something they will, but Garnet's just content with, how this former enemy is actually trying to get to know her.
Yeah, and what was even fun, I think the funniest part of this episode, though, which was, how it was set up was so brilliant. Like, it was like, when Garnet said that she's glad that she helped understand, Peridot's like, I still don't understand. Why do you choose to be fused all the time? And Garnet's response was fucking brilliant. She just says, well, I'm just like, what were the name of those two characters? I'm just like...
like, there were two characters that Peridot shipped on that show that she watched for 3 days. And that was Garnet's response was, oh, I'm just these two characters. And Peridot's like, oh, I get it now. It's like, God damn it, Peridot.
Of course you get it now, you fucking trashy shipper.
Oh my God.
I thought that was so fucking clever. That's how Garnet got Peridot to understand.
She got it through fan shipping.
But that was pretty much the end of the log book that Peridot was stating.
It goes. Oh, I was just gonna say, like at the very end, like right when Steven gets to the end of the recording, all of a sudden he hears Garnet's voice in the recorder, and she's like, "Steven, you should know better than to listen to Peridot's recordings. Now give it back to her because she's gonna need it." And then, like you hear in the recording, Peridot's like, "What?" So it's like, oh, future vision.
She didn't really have that tone of voice. She was talking more calmly than that.
No, I know, but still, it was like, again, it was just like, oh, Garnet and your future vision.
Yeah. So yeah, Steven gives the log back to Peridot. She's calmed down now, and Garnet gives it her last thumbs up. Steven gives a thumbs up, and Peridot is just like, okay, and gives a thumbs up. So I think it's safe to say, yeah, Peridot's pretty much had her redemption.
Yeah.
She's ready to go. She's ready to be a crystal gem.
Yeah. Now, Peridot did mention this, I think right at the end of her 2-minute freak out before Steven started listening to the recorder, and I think it's a question that's like, yeah, we gotta get an answer to this at some point. I'm trying to think, are we gonna continue getting new episodes from this point, or are we going on another hiatus?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, well, I think suffice it to say, I hope we get it soon, because now that Peridot has asked the question, I'm sure now everybody wants to know, where are they going to put the star?
Yeah, this is the first time this was ever addressed, because obviously we saw that every character had a star in their attire somewhere, and this is something solely unique to the crystal gems.
Right, so I always figured, this was probably like an homage more so to Rose Quartz, because that her dress where we see her gem like on her stomach, it is outlined like a star. So I figured, that's why Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl, and Steven for that matter, are constantly wearing stars. It's a throwback to Rose that started this whole rebellion.
Well, Steven's is more coincidental, because those shirts because fun fact, the reason why Steven wears the same shirt in every episode is because those are literally hand-me-down leftovers of all the shirts that Greg wasn't able to sell when he was in his band. He literally just gave them all to Steven, and he had so many that Steven's so many in so many different sizes that Steven's pretty much good for life.
Yeah,
but they all already had stars on them because his one-man band was space themed. So that was more coincidental than anything else.
I suppose. But still, it was like, but then you look at Peridot's design where, she had the diamonds on. And I mean, we saw how, Jasper had diamonds, Sapphire had diamonds when she was once allied with Blue Diamond. So, I mean...
Lapis had a blue diamond. So.
Yeah, so, I mean, we know the whole diamond, is their allegiance and everything. So now that Peridot is pretty much, now she's not with Yellow Diamond anymore. It's like, okay, how is her design going to change now to, implement the stars? Like, are they just going to replace the diamonds with the stars, or is she getting an entirely new look? And actually, now I think about it, now it's like, okay, now I'm wondering, all right, how are we going to update the intro song now? Because now you have a new member. So it's like, are you going to actually have Peridot singing in the song now? Or are you just going to have her, just showing up, in the intro?
They're probably not going to do that for a while. Because even though, yeah, she was made a crystal gem now, I'm sure there's still some parts that she's a little hazy about. So... they're probably, if they do that, they're probably not going to do it until she's a full, dedicated member of the Crystal Gems. Mm. When she has her own room in the temple, once she's actually going on missions with them and actually contributing.
Well,
probably.
Yeah. I was just saying, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that.
So we just gotta wait for her to move out of the bathroom?
You know, that could end up being her temple.
Oh, God.
Sorry, Steven. You gotta go in the ocean from now on.
Yeah, it's like, awkward. Oh, God, yes. So it's like, I think suffice it to say, like, yeah, this week has been it's been a very, very entertaining bomb. I mean, it's like, compared to the last Steven bomb that we had a discussion over, where it was so serious and everything, and it's like, this one was way more lighthearted and everything. It's like, I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, lighthearted, but still very informative, so.
Mm-hmm. Now it'll be about another 6 months before we get Steven Bomb 5.
Fuck. Now, there is something I do want to actually bring up since the Steven Bomb is over. And this is more spoiler territory for about an episode that hasn't even been announced yet. But it was an episode that Cartoon Network accidentally promoted during the commercials as if they were going to show it during this week. But they didn't.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
I was expecting this episode to be showed today, but it didn't. So I want to bring it up at the very least.
Okay.
There was an episode that was supposedly going to be talked about. I forget the title, but the description was about Steven helping two friends get along in the barn.
Okay.
And when they promoted this episode, it showed Lapis Lazuli.
Huh.
At the barn, and the only shot it showed of her was of Peridot handing her a gift, like a little gift. So I assumed those are the two friends, and Peridot looked, she looked like she was trying to reconcile, but Lapis Lazuli wasn't having any of it. She looked angry. So. Yeah,
so if that is indeed the case, then it's like, alright, how did they unfuse?
Yeah, and what happened? And
like
what happened to Jasper?
Yeah, like what happened? Because, I mean, the last time we saw Lapis was, I think it was the end of the last bomb, wasn't it? Where it was like, it was the whole thing with Steven with the dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like at the end of the last bomb, and that was when we really saw that. I was like, okay, the Malachite personality has come out, and that's pretty much the last we saw, let alone heard, of what was going on with that whole situation. So it's like, okay, if that's come undone, then it's like, yeah, it's like, all right, what happened to Jasper? What happened with Malachite? There's just so many goddamn questions now, and, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see, when that comes along. Because I would imagine, like, something as big as that, I mean, it's like, I would agree, I figured that would be something they would save for a bomb. Because the Steven bombs, they usually save for, like, your big episodes. And, Lapis and Jasper becoming unfused, that's a pretty big fucking deal.
Yeah, so something tells me that they probably are planning to save this episode for a different bomb, but they accidentally showed it here because they probably fit. I guess the people at Cartoon Network probably thought that this episode was a part of this bomb, even though it wasn't. So.
Well, if that's indeed the case, now I guess it kind of begs the question. I'm aware that the way they do their episodes, they're working on several episodes at a time, and they, because they're not on, like, such strict deadlines and everything, that's why they can get away with, like, we have, like, okay, we get some episodes here and there, and then they go on a long hiatus before we get our next batch. They have that kind of freedom that allows them to take their time, and that's why they can crank out several episodes at once. So if Cartoon Network managed to get that little teaser of, Steven, Peridot, and Lapis, now it just kind of begs the question, just how far along are they when it comes to animating these episodes?
I'm curious about that myself, but I guess that's something we'll have to wait and see, because, like, I really do, I haven't heard anything confirmation-wise, but I do hope that after this they continue on with the new episode every Thursday deal. Because they did that for a while after the last bomb, but then they kind of just stopped that randomly, so.
Right.
I guess maybe specifically I don't know, because since this was specifically Steven's birthday bomb, even though only two episodes were dedicated to his birthday, and the first one was only kind of dedicated to his birthday. Maybe they waited for this specific date. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Well, I mean, it's like, if you go on the Wikipedia, either regular Wikipedia or the Steven Universe Wikipedia, if you actually look on, like, the actual episode list, I mean, we have episode titles and everything, and we've got a fuck ton of episodes to be expecting and everything. So, I mean, we know they're hard at work and everything. It's just, we just don't know when these episodes are going to air. I mean, it's like, there's an episode that we've had a title and a basic plot synopsis for, I think, since the last bomb, but we've still yet to see anything of it. And it's supposed to be bringing back the Watermelon Stevens from all the way back in season 1. Yeah, like, they're supposed to be coming back, like, they found, like, the Watermelon Stevens ended up on an island or something, and, we get a little update on what happened with that, and it was like, oh, that's actually, really clever that they're, harking back to that, and like I said, that's all the way back, I think, like, at the beginning of season 1 or something, or at least during the first half, and I remember seeing that we've had that title, we've had a plot synopsis, I mean, we've had it for a while, but that episode is nowhere to be seen right now, so, again, that's kind of where I question just how far along are they when it comes to making these episodes.
Kind of have to wonder, because in terms, they have a pretty decently sized team. Each episode is about 11 minutes long. Mm-hmm. The animation itself is very simple, and the characters are designed very simply. I imagine the longest part of the show that it takes to build is the backgrounds and the music.
Probably, so, yeah.
I have to wonder. I want to say maybe it takes about. I'll assume maybe it takes about a month to make each episode. So, but I guess with that said. I think that pretty much does it with this week's birthday bomb. Tell us what you think about these episodes, and hell, even Steven Universe in general in the comments. What you think is going to happen in the future? Any possible dorky fan theories that we like to talk about, mm-hmm. and then we'll continue on more, possibly with the next Steven bomb, and heck, maybe even from now on, whenever there is a new episode, we'll just talk about it then and there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll leave that one up to you guys. We've been doing these with the bombs just because, it's a big batch of episodes and they're a big deal. So, of course, we're going to do a discussion. And you guys really liked the last one that we did. And that's why we did it again here. But if you want us to do, let's talk about every new fucking episode. If enough of you guys want to see us talk about that, I mean, we're more than willing to do it.
Yeah. Alrighty, so I guess that about does it. We are the Spiffy Needle Geeks, or half of them anyway. So, and we'll see you all next time.